Do you know how to write a simple hello world function in Python? Do you know that Python function arguments can have default values? Do you know function arguments can be supplied as key value pair in Python? Do you know the argument position can be either fixed or variable as constrained by you in Python function? Stay tuned till the end of the video to know all the answers.
Hey guys, welcome back. In today's episode, we are going to discuss the below points. First, we will talk about function in Python. We'll go by definition. Next, we will take an example with argument of the Python function. Next, we will talk how a function functions. That means the working mechanism of a function. Next, we will talk about the function with returning values. So this is very important. A function can return a value or may not return a value. Here we will talk about the function which is returning values. Next, we will exemplify a function with default argument. That means there should be some default value of the given arguments of the function. In the very next point, we will talk about function with keyword arguments. So we will see in detail with example. Next, we will talk about special argument functions. So this is a discussion and it is not an example. So we will discuss couple of things here which is applicable to Python. Finally, we'll talk about the call by reference. Earlier, all were call by values. Now, at the last, we'll talk about the call by reference of a function in Python. So that's the menu for today. Without any further delay, let's begin. Function in Python. In this slide, we will talk about the function by definition and we will describe how a function is constructed or how it is constituted. Let us see a simple hello world function in Python, how it looks like. First, we will have a name for the function which is preceded by a def keyword. Def is a keyword which defines a function and we have a empty parenthesis or the first bracket, pair of first bracket. Next, we have the print statement, print hello world of Python. So if you write these two lines in a .py extension file, obviously there will be a Python interpreter as you know from this series. This will become a hello world function and you can call this function hello world at any part of your code and it will print out the hello world of Python. In the next very point, we will talk about the keyword def is used to introduce a function definition. As I have said, def defines a function. Next, it must be followed by the function name and a list of formal parameters in parentheses. There should be some parameters here. However, only the hello world doesn't need anything here inside the parentheses, so it is left blank. The statements forming the body of the function start at the next line and must be indented. Because in Python, when you start something at the next line, you give an indentation, whether this is a space or a tab, whatever it is. Throughout the code, you have to main that indentation character. It could be a space, it could be double space, or it could be a tab, or it could be a double tab. So whatever indentation string you are using, you should be using that. So whatever under this indentation will come under this particular line. The same is true for the function. The first statement in the function body can be a string literal, which serve as the function documentation string or doc string. So generally we have a comment or something like that, because when you are writing a function, you are not writing one single function, maybe you are writing several functions, and there should be a definition of the function at the very beginning of the function inside the body of the function, not outside, so that any stranger who is looking into the code is able to understand or grasp the meaning of the intention of the function. Next, including doc strings in your code is a good practice for generating documentation or facilitating interactive code browsing. So when we are coding, generally we give a comment here, comment there, and comment here. So in this way, when we put comments, right, it's very easy for a third person, maybe who is not you, who is not your boss, maybe someone else from another team, because in VLSI, the work is generally a cross-team collaborative work. In that case, you are maybe from team A and someone from team B is looking into your code. He may not be aware of the entire thing. So in that case, in person, you or your boss have to be present there to make him or her understand what the code is for. So in that case, it should be a good practice to put a comment. It's a good practice to put a comment at different levels of the code. That means at different important turnarounds or maybe at different important blocks, the comment should be there or some couple of comments should be there to understand what that block is doing. So it's a good way of conveying the message to any unknown person who is going through your code, because this is scripting. This will not be given as a binary to someone. It will be processed as a script to the end user. An end user, if want to look into the code, he or she must be able to grasp the meaning quickly. And here the comment plays a good role. And especially I will recommend you, for a good practice, maintain this style while you are coding in VLSI. So we are done here in this particular slide. Let's move on to the next slide. A function example with argument. Earlier we have just seen the hello world function which you can execute at your end. I think this is a 15th episode right now we are broadcasting. So by now you are well able to write the codes of Python and you can write the function your own end. Now here we will give a simple function how it is written in Python. So here goes our code. First line is our interpreter. Obviously, if you are in Windows, you will not need this line. This is needed when you are in Linux. Next, we are writing the def keyword followed by the function name fibo and followed by its argument, that is n. Here n will be an integer number. Since in Python we have automation or automatic detection of the variables, we are not writing int, char or something like that, which was there earlier in C language. So let us go to the next very line, and here you can see there is a indentation here, and whatever comes under this indentation vertically, sorry, the line got bent. So if I try to write the vertical line here, whatever comes under this will be inside the function. So here we give the doc string, that means the comment function to write Fibonacci series up to n. So by the name you can see it is Fibo and it's a Fibonacci series function. Up to n means n is the last entry, or you can say the upper limit up to which the Fibonacci series should proceed. So at the next point, we have the initialization of the two variables a and b, and we have 0 for a and 1 for b. This is you can do together. That means you are assigning a and b together. So initialize first two numbers in the series. Next, print Fibonacci numbers less than n. We'll print it. We write a while loop, a less than n. A means this and a means this. And then again you can see we have another indentation level for the while. Everything under this is under the function and everything under this while. Next we have here print a and then end equal to this, and update the values of a and b to calculate the next number of the series. So what we do here, we again assign b to a and a plus b to b. So this is a dual assignment. That means we are assigning two variables at the same time. So assigning b to a and a plus b to b. This way we are assigning this. So this is how our initial variable shift to the next position, and the next position is proceeding in the manner how the Fibonacci series should proceed. Next, print a new line after printing the series. So here we are printing a new line. It's a print then blank, nothing else. Next, here you can see up to this it was under the while. Now we have came back inside this Fibo. So we have came out of this while already up to this, and this is we are back again under Fibo, and here we have a new line and calling the defined function with target arguments. So you can see we have totally come out of the function body here because this indentation is no more. It has ended here, and this is again to the original indentation. So the function body has ended and we are calling the function here Fibo. Then we are putting the limiting number 9 and then we are writing Fibo and limiting number 49. So the series will end somehow near 9, and this here the series will end somewhere near the 49. Once we execute this code, we get this output. So the first one is series is this one and the second one is this one. You can see 0 plus 1 we have 1, then 1 plus 1 we have 2, and then 1 plus 2 we have 3, then 2 plus 3 we have 5, and then 3 plus 5 we have 8. So this way the Fibonacci series proceeds. The same is true for this bigger series. So this way a function can be defined, and you can see this way the entire body of the function is captured in a Python code, and later the function is called in this fashion. Now this could be in one Python code and this could be another Python code. Obviously they has to be interlinked somehow. We are done here. Let's move on to the next slide. This is a discussion slide, how a function functions. So here we will discuss about a function and its functioning, especially inside the Python. When a function is executed, a new symbol table is created using its local variable. So this is a concept again for the local and the global. Whatever values and variables we are using is very much local to that particular function. A new symbol table is created. Remember, in some of the programming language, we have namespace. This is a very similar concept, the symbol table. Variable arguments within a function store a value in the local symbol table. So whatever values we are doing, adding, manipulating, assigning, whatever we are doing, it is happening in the local symbol table. That means inside the function only. Direct assignment of the global variables or variables is in enclosing functions is not possible within a function except for using a global or a non-local statement. So there is a global statement. Unless we are using it, it is not possible to directly tie a global variable to the function and its local symbol table. This is the speciality. I think this is the beauty of the function, because whatever you are doing, it is happening locally. Even if you have a same name variable, that means you have another variable outside the function and inside the function, both have the same names. In that case, they will not clash, because whatever inside the function is operating on the local table particular to that function, and this is the local variable, and whatever outside, it may be a global or it may be a local to some other body of the Python code. So this is the beauty, and this is the functioning, how the function functions. Arguments passed to a function call are introduced as local variables in the called function symbol table. So whatever values we are passing on to the function goes to the local symbol table. These are values, not the variables. Even we are assigning some values to variables, maybe inside the function, right? We have the function parenthesis, and here we write a variable, another variable we write, and this variable contains values. So those values will go enter into the function's body as local, and these variables will be intact, whatever they were outside defined. So these were defined outside and they are carrying variables up to this point, and they hand over to the local symbol table, and that goes to the function itself. Arguments are passed by values whether the value is always an object reference. So this is very important. We just talked here, right? The arguments are always passed by the value, which I have just discussed here in this point. And this is the emphasis and more clear and straightforward way of telling that. When a function calls another function or calls itself recursively, a new local symbol table is created for each of the call. That means we are calling a function here. Again, it is calling here. So each time it is creating a local table. You have seen the movie Inception, right? In that there was the concept that we are instantiating here, and then again inside that we are instantiating here. In this level of hierarchy, we are going down. So just remember that concept from the movie Inception. The similar thing is happening here. When one function is recursively calling the same function, each and every time a local variable or local table is created. So here we are done discussing how a function functions. That means this is very important for your VLSI interview. Why? Because here we have explained the mechanism how a function works inside the Python. And these things you could be facing as a tricky question. So these are very simplified explanations, so that you understand it well and you are well prepared for any tricky question. The questions are not here, but however, you know the fundamentals, so you will be able to answer any tricky question in the interview. We are done here. Let's move on to the next slide. Function with returning values. So far, if we are writing a function, right, hello world, it is not returning any value. Rather than on the screen, it will print hello then world. So it is not returning. In this particular slide, we will talk about function. When they are executed in real time, they will return, maybe at the end of the function body, there will be some statement to which it will return some value. So let us start our code. Here goes our first part of the code. First line obviously is our interpreter. The next very line is the function with returning values. This is the doc string, or you can say the definition. Next, we write the def keyword, and then we write the function name, that is add, and we write two arguments a and b. So a and b, theoretically it seems that it will add a and b together, and the added value of a and b should be returned back. That is the intention. You can see here we have an indentation character here, and then we have the next line adding %d, and then we have a % here, and then a and b. This way, whatever a and b is, they are printed here and they will be added. Now we have a return statement of a plus b. So we have a plus b as a return statement. That means once the a and b value comes, this will be printed. Adding this, and this value will be immediately returned. So this is like hello world, we have a print, but however in addition we have a returning value. That means when the control goes back to the main program, right, the main body, this value will be returned. And if we assign a variable, right, p equal to add a and b, this returning a plus b will be returned into p. Let us proceed further inside the code. Def subtract a comma b, and in the same way we are printing here subtracting a from b. We have return value a minus b. Next we have multiply a comma b, and then we write, that means we print multiplying a with b, and we return a multiplication b. So asterisk is used for the multiplication, and hence we are returning this value. Def, then we write divide a comma b, and here we write dividing a by b. That means we are printing it and we are returning a by b. So this is the first part of the code. Here we have defined all the functions. 4 functions we have defined with returning values: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. In the next part of the code, we will call these functions. So let us call them here with numerical values. First, a equal to 10, and then b equal to 5. So we are assigning two integer values, a equal to 10 and b equal to 5, to a and b, because we will be using these values. Next we write result add. This is the variable where the output will be stored, and we write add a plus b. So whatever is added here and returned here, it will go into this particular variable. Next we print it. Next again we write result underscore subtract, and whatever is returned through this statement will go to this particular variable. Then we print it, and again we write a variable result multiply. Whatever we are getting from return here will go to this particular variable by calling this function. Similarly, we have printed the multiplied value here. Next we write another variable result, then divide, and whatever divided return is going to be stored in this particular variable through calling this function. And here again we print the result divide. Now this is a single code, but because of the space limitation, I have split into 2 parts into this slide. Once we execute the entire code, the output comes as this. So adding, you can see 10 plus 5. So this statement is coming from here, adding, and you can see this statement is coming from here. Result of add is 15. In the similar fashion, once we pass this subtract, right, this first print statement is coming here, subtracting, and from here we are getting result of subtraction. We proceed in the same manner. Here multiplying, here it is going here, and this result multiply goes here. In the same way, dividing, this statement is getting printed here, and result of the division is printed here. So this way a function with the returning values is defined and called in Python. We are done with this example. You can download this code, and whatever codes we are going through in this particular episode and all the previous episode, they are available in GitHub. Download links of the respective episodes codes are provided in the respective episodes description. You go to the video description, you click on the link, you reach to the GitHub. From there you download the code. Once you click the required link, it will take you only to that particular code. So go ahead, download those codes, do some alterations at your end and try out. Because without trying at your end, you cannot learn a programming. We are done here. Let's move on to the next slide. Function with default argument. So here we are dealing with the default argument. That means the function, we have a set of argument, and some of them or one of them may have a default value. So this is our function, and we have a parenthesis. There are say 3 variables, 1, 2, 3, and here we have a default value. If we do not give this, the default value will be picked up. So this is the theme of this particular slide. Function with default argument. So let us proceed for the code. Here is the interpreter as the first line of the code. You will not need this in the Windows. However, this is essential in Linux. So here we give a prototype. Def ask okay, then there is a prompt, then retry is equal to 4, and reminder is please try again. So these are 3 different types of the arguments, and we will complete this code in the next slide. This is just a placeholder, and here we will talk about what each of these particular means. So the purpose, this is a docstring, basically ask the user for confirmation with a prompt, allowing a certain number of retries. Arguments are: prompt is the string, the prompt message to display no defaults here. So So you can see prompt will not be considered as defaults. Retries is integer, the maximum number of retries allowed with default values. So you can see 4 retries will be there. Reminder is string. The reminder message displays on the input with default. So in case the input you have given is invalid, then it will be given. Please try again. What it returns? It returns boolean. True if the user confirms with y or ye or yes. False otherwise. Any other cases will be false. Raises value error if the user exceeds the maximum number of retries without providing a valid input. So this is the doc string. That means this is you have to write here when you are writing a function. What the arguments means, what the purpose, what is the type, what its limitation, and what its flexibility, all these things. So this was just for your understanding. In the next slide, we are continuing the same code, but however, there will be the code only, and there will be code and its usage. And here it was just to discuss what this function is intended to do. So let us move on to the next slide for the actual code. First line is our interpreter. Now we have the definition. And we start our code with the while. You can see there is an indentation character here. Then we write while true. That means it's a while loop with the true condition. Until or unless you are forcefully breaking it, it will continue. Next, prompt the user and get their response. OK equal to input, then prompt. So this is another function. You will see what it does. It gives the prompt. If OK is in y, ye or yes, what it will do? It will return true. If OK is in n, no, nope, no, all these things, it will return false. Next, decrement the retries counter. Retries equal to retries minus 1. So you can see it is 4 by default and it goes to 1 minus. You can override this value if you suggest, say, there will be 10 retries. So you provide 10 here. So in that case, the default will be overridden. But in case you are not providing the retries, it will start counting 4, and from there it will deduct 1 and go again in the while loop, and this way it will go further. If retries is less than 0, the maximum retries has exceeded, raise an error. So here it will raise another keyword in Python. Value error is invalid user response. So that means the function has retried multiple times to take the user input, but the user is not giving a valid input. Next, print the reminder message of the valid input. Here we print reminder. So reminder is here. You can see. Please try again. So you can see calling of the function. So here this function has ended, right? Now let us call the function. Confirmation, then ask underscore OK. Do you want to proceed? Yes or no. This is the calling of the function. And next, in the further part of the code, we have if confirmation. Print you choose to proceed, else you choose not to proceed. That means we are storing true or false here, and we put a if else condition here to check whether true or false. According to true, we are printing this. According to false, we are printing this. Once we execute this code, right? For the true condition, when this is prompted on the screen and we type y, so the true value goes to the confirmation and this block is activated. So you can see you choose to proceed. You can see this is printed. And again, we execute the code, and in that case, we type n. You can see this goes to here and false is stored here, and false, it goes to the else condition, and this is printed. So you choose not to proceed. This comes here. You can see. So this way, a function with the default argument work. That means some of the value is default, and that will be used in case you are not overriding it. So here you can see this has a default argument and this has a default argument. Only the prompt you are taking from the user. You can also give the values of retries here as 10 retries, and you can say reminder also you can give some string, and then you can close the first bracket. Okay? In this way, you can also call the function. This code is available for download from the GitHub. The link is provided in the description. Go ahead, download it, do the changes you want to do, try out the code at your end. This is how you are learning. Not only this code, all the codes are shown in this episode and in the entire series are available in the respective video description with a proper naming. So against their naming, there is a link. So you go to the link and download it from the GitHub. Once you click the link, you will go to GitHub, and there you can either copy paste or you can download the code as a zip or something like that. We are done here. Let's move on to the next slide. So here we will talk about function with keyword arguments. So this is another thing that is available in Python. We will talk about the keyword argument. So you will understand how it functions. We'll make you understand this thing with a code. So let us start our code. First, here is our code. Here goes the first line, which is an interpreter. And here we have a definition. Remember, like the previous function, here we will give a definition of the function and later we will use it in actual code. So we will make you understand, otherwise it will be very difficult because there are several variables and they mean different things to you and maybe into the end user. So we have a function parrot, we have a voltage, state, we have action, we have type, we have. You can see these are already containing values. So now let's have the docstring. Simulate a parrot speaking with various characteristics. Argument, voltage is int or float. The cage light voltage. So parrot is in a cage and the cage contains different lights which are maybe colored or non-colored and they depend upon the voltage. Those voltage the parrot will pick. State is the state of the parrot. Action is the action of the parrot performs. Type is the type of the parrot. The parrot could be different types. So here is a Norwegian blue. So it could be different types of species of parrot. So here you can see we have 4 different arguments and they mean different things. Now let us move on to the next slide where the function is defined and called. Before proceeding, one more thing. Function can also be called using keyword arguments of the form argument keyword equal to value. So argument keyword equal to value, keyword equal to value, keyword equal to value. So remember this thing. So let us move on to the next slide. Here we define the function and call it. So let us start our code. First line is the interpreter. Next we have def, then parrot, then voltage, then state, then action, then type. We have defined and explained all these in the previous slide. So we will go and start writing the code. First line is the parrot information, is a print command. Next we have the print voltage. Next we print the state. Next we print the action. Next we print the type and then we give a separator by print, so that if there are multiple instances are called, right, there will be separator to separate each and every instance. And here we are ended. So this is the function body and there is nothing more. We just getting the values and printing it. We are not doing anything here. We are not doing anything else here. So example usage of the multiple argument combination. So first combination is this parrot and 1000. So when rest of the things are defined, we are only giving the voltage value 1000. Next, we are giving the voltage value 200 and here we give tired here. Instead of boom, we have fly here and instead of Norwegian blue, we have cockatoo here. So we are overriding the keyword values. Next, we have 3000. Then we have a relax, jump, African gray. Next, we have action equal to sing. So you can see we have swapped the different places, right? Action has came in the first while it was in a third position. Action equal to sing. Voltage equal to 6000. So earlier voltage were in the first position. It has came. State is equal to a happy. It was in the second position. And type is Macau. So this is the beauty of the keyword arguments where you can change the position. That means this is keyword and its value. Keyword and its value. Keyword and its value. So you can place them anywhere. Or you can give the values if you want to maintain the same order. Otherwise, you can change it as the keyword and value tile. So this is how you define and this is how you flexibly use it. Next, we have parrot, then type, lovebird, then voltage is equal to 7000, state sleepy, and action is equal to cuddle. So you can see here again we have changed the position of the action, which was initially here. So we are continuously swapping or changing the position of the arguments. This is what we can do with the keyword arguments. Next, again what we do, we come back here and again we change the position. 8000 is goes for the voltage is unchanged. Then we have type equal to Amazon, state equal to excited, action equal to talk. So action was originally here, state was here, and type was here. We are again changing the position of the argument. So rarely the position is defining the arguments, rather the key value pair is defining the arguments and their values. This is the use of the keyword argument. Once we execute this code, this comes out. So you can see all these things are printed. So the first one here is printed here. Second one is here, the third one is here, the fourth one is here, and the sixth one is here. So you can compare these things. It is very easy. Go ahead, download this particular code from GitHub. The link is provided in the description. Try it out. Do all this swapping, whatever way or whatever combinations you want. Remember, when you change the position, you have to maintain the key value combination. You cannot write here only 6000. You cannot write it. You have to write a key equal to value in this way. So do the swapping and try out this particular code. Download the code from GitHub and do the changes as you want. You are done here with the particular code and its output. Let us move on to the next slide. special argument function. So this is a discussion slide. We'll talk about the different argument and their specialities in Python. So let us start our discussion. By default, the arguments in Python can be passed by position or explicitly by the keyword. So explicitly by the keyword, as we have seen in the previous code, and the position we also have seen in the last two examples. Restricting the way of arguments can be passed improve the readability and the performance. So this is the beauty of the Python, that we can play with the arguments, which was, I think, not possible in C language, which was very stiff, this kind of nature. Next, we have function definition example def, then we have position 1, position 2, then position or keyword, then keyword, then keyword. Okay, this could be star, this could be slash. Okay, so this way, this is a flexibility. The slash and the star are symbols indicate parameter types for argument passing. Positional only, positional or keyword, and keyword only. So the position or keyword goes here, keyword only is here, and keyword only is here, and the positional only is here and here. So this could be mix and match. So you can do the mix and match. You download the last two codes which we have just discussed. Then you can write something which is a mix and match of this, how we have shown here. So this is the beauty of the Python. If slash and star are not present, arguments can be passed by position or keyword. Positional only parameters are marked before by the separator, the slash separator. Their order matters. They cannot be passed by keyword. The slash separate the positional only parameters from the rest of the parameters. So that means these two position only parameters are separated by a slash. So this is a separator inside the argument. The position only parameters will be before this slash. If there is no slash, there are no positional only parameters. So these are positional only parameters. Parameters after the slash can be positional or keyword. So this after this slash could be positional or keyword only. Keyword only parameters are marked by placing a star before it. Since this is here, anything after this will be keyword only parameters. This is a style that Python maintains. Anything before slash will be positional. Anything after this star will be keyword only. This is how we are restricting it. Keyword only parameters must be passed by keyword arguments. So this should be key value pair, this should be key value pair, and this could be position or keyword. Anything after star is strictly the keyword one, anything before slash will be strictly the position. Okay, this way you can restrict it. Otherwise you can mix and match, as you have seen in the previous example. So this is the tricky things that you are learning about Python function, and this can be asked in interview. So get prepared. Try out the codes, do the modification, try out, and if the error comes, if it is not intended, that is how you will learn. So go ahead and download the codes from GitHub. Links are provided in the description. Do the changes and learn. Here we are done discussing about the special arguments, that those are available in Python. The methods deal with the different type of arguments, or restricting maybe the types of the arguments, or making them flexible. Anything, anyhow, any angle you can take on this. Done here. Let's move on to the next slide. Function call by reference. Generally, this is also termed as call by reference. Let us start our code to see how the call by reference can be done. The first one is our interpreter, which is useless in Windows but essential in Linux. The next one is def, the function, then the modify list, and then the list. Then list.append, then 4 is the list function available along with the list object, right? The append function, we write 4. And then this is the function, right? And then my list is 1 2 3. We're writing it. We have come out of the function, and up to this is the function body, so it ends here. And outside this we are writing my list is 1 2 3. Next, before modification we print the my list, and after modification calling by reference, modify list, then my list, and here we print it. Now why this is a call by reference? Because here we are not taking the output here onto some other variable, so it is operating on the list itself, and this is how the position, that means the memory position of this list, is used, and hence this is a call by reference. Once we execute this code, this comes. Before modification it is 1 2 3, and after modification it is 1 2 3 4. So here the list is passed on to as is with the reference, and here the reference is modified, that means 4 is added here, and the actual list is modified. Not we have a modified list and then we assign it to some other list and then we are printing. No, we are just modifying the original list. list here, and this is why this is called the call by reference. Reference of the list goes here and it is modified, and before and after, say you can see we are printing the same variable here, my list, and before modification is this value and after modification is this value. You can see this is how the call by reference is working. So we have done talking about all about the functions in Python. You can go ahead, download the course from the GitHub links provided in the description. And when we are done here, let's move on to the next slide. Thank you very much for watching up to this point, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. In case you have some dislikes, put that as in words in the comment section down below, and bye for today.